Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Alisha and today we are making a sprinkle cookie cake. This is going to be a 3-layer 6-inch cake. So I've weighed 4 large eggs and then weighed everything else to the same measurements, and I've also got 3 6-inch cake tins which I have greased, lined and floured. So you want to preheat your oven to 160 degrees Celsius, and the first thing we're going to do, as always, is cream together the butter and sugars, and we are going to cream these together on a medium speed for about 5 minutes until it is pale and fluffy. Next thing I'm going to do is add in the eggs, and I'm going to add them in 2 at a time and beat them for about 30 seconds between each lot going in. Now it's time to add the milk and vanilla. So I've got 4 tablespoons of whole milk here and a teaspoon of vanilla, and we're going to mix that in just on a slow speed until it's all mixed together. And finally, it's time to add in the flour. So we're going to fold this in really slowly on the lowest speed of your mixer, or if you're doing it by hand you can fold this in using a figure of 8 method. I'm just going to mix it until it's just combined. You might want to finish mixing it by hand just so you don't over mix it. So as you can see, I've mixed it as far as I want to with the stand mixer, so I'm just going to scrape everything off the paddle and then make sure I've got everything off the sides and the bottom, and then I'm going to distribute between the 3 baking tins. So now they're ready for the oven. So we're going to bake them on the middle shelf at 160 degrees Celsius, and that's for a fan assisted oven, and we're going to bake them for 25 minutes, and you'll be able to tell if they're done if they're springy on top and if you stick a skewer or a knife and they come out clean. And these are the cakes done with the magic of editing. So the next thing I'm going to do is get on with the buttercream. If you want to know how I make my buttercream, then I'll leave a link in the description to a separate video I've made, and also a card in the top right corner. But basically I double the quantity of icing sugar to butter and add a bit of milk and vanilla. I beat the butter for at least 5 minutes until it is pale and silky, and then I add the icing sugar in 2 parts and then add in the milk and vanilla. So now it's time for the fun bit, which is decorating. So I'm just slicing off the dome of the cake, the very top layer of it. You're best doing this when it's cold rather than when it's warm, because if it's warm you might find that your cake completely crumbles apart. And obviously I'm going to eat the scraps because that's what the baker gets. You bake the cake for someone else and then you get the scraps. It's just got to be done. And then I'm going to get a bit of buttercream, pop it on the board, and this is going to act as a glue for the cake. I'm going to get my first layer, squish it on top, and then get a big dollop of buttercream to sandwich in between. And as you can see, I dropped some buttercream on the table, and not just a little bit either. I am so messy in the kitchen. If you haven't figured that out by now, I'm always dropping buttercream or chocolate or ganache or cake mixture or any of the above over everything really. If I don't get it on me, it's on my kitchen somewhere. So I've just put a layer of buttercream over the top. I have spread it out and smoothed it, and then I'm going to put some sprinkles on top of the buttercream and then sandwich it with another layer of cake and repeat the process. So that's the cake, nice and sandwiched together. So now it's time for the crumb coat. A crumb coat is just a really thin layer of buttercream that helps to lock in all of the crumbs so they don't get in your final layer of buttercream. So I'm just taking the excess from around the cake and spreading it around, and then for anything extra I'm going to grab some more buttercream out of my bowl and keep spreading it around the cake until I have got my crumb coat finished. Now your cake is covered in buttercream, you want to smooth it out a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want it a bit smoother. So I've got my cake scraper here and I'm putting it firmly against the cake board and moving the cake board round, and that'll give you a nice straight edge. Then I'm just popping the excess into the bowl and scraping the top off as well. And once you're happy with that, you want to pop it in the fridge for about half an hour. So the final layer of buttercream, I want to create sort of a pastel ombre effect. So I'm using pink, purple and blue. The pink and purple food colourings are Wilton and the blue is Sugar Flare, and as always I'm using gel food colourings rather than liquid. So I'm just dividing the rest of my buttercream between 3 bowls, and then I am going to colour the buttercream to the desired colour that I want. And if you want to create pastel colours, you just don't add as much of the food colouring in. So my cake has had 30 minutes in the fridge now, so the crumb coat is firm to the touch. So now it's time to add the final layer of buttercream. So I'm going to start with the blue, then I'm going to do the purple and then the pink for the top layer. And as you can see, I'm just working around the bottom third of my cake with the blue. Then I'm going to grab my purple, work around the second third of the cake, and then I'm going to grab the pink, and that's going to go for the top third and also on top of the cake as well. And just as we did with the crumb coat, we're just going to add enough buttercream on there so then we can smooth it off with the scraper. So you just want to scrape it exactly the same way as you have done your crumb coat, and you will see that as you're scraping it, the colours start to blend together, which is exactly what we want. If you find that one of the colours are too high or too low, you can just add another layer of the colour that you want to add more on there of. If you find that there's holes in some of your buttercream, then again just add the appropriate colour on there and smooth again. And once you're happy with it, pop it in the fridge for another 30 minutes. The cake's had 30 minutes in the fridge now, so now I'm going to start decorating it. So I've put the rest of the buttercream into a piping bag, and I'm just putting some swirls of buttercream on top of the cake. I usually start with 4 points and then work the rest around the middle, and it's as simple as that. And then we're going to decorate the top and also the very edge of the cake at the bottom with some sprinkles to make it all nice and colourful and pretty. And here's where the cookies come in, and I don't really know why I thought of this idea. I just thought, you know what would be cool if we put cookies on top of a cake. So if you want to find out how I made my cookies, I'll link the video in the description, and also again I'll pop a pop-up in the right hand corner, and I'm just placing the cookies around the cake for decoration because why the hell not? And just like that, the cake is complete, and now it's the best part, which is taste test time. You work so hard on a cake and you finally get to taste it, unless of course you're making it for someone else and then you never get to taste it. And there we go, perfect layers of light and fluffy cake, sandwiched with vanilla buttercream, some sprinkles and topped with cookies. What more can a girl ask for? So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!